Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepless Scientist, your quiet corner of the cosmos where curiosity meets calm and science gently rocks you to sleep. Before we begin our celestial journey tonight, I'd love to know, where in the world are you listening from, and what time is it right now? Feel free to whisper it in your thoughts or the comments below. It always amazes me that so many of us can drift together from different corners of the globe, connected in this peaceful moment under the same sky. Perhaps for you it's late at night, while for someone else listening it might be early morning. Yet here we all are, sharing this gentle journey across time and space, each in our own cozy spot. In a way, we're all part of a little community of dreamers, exploring the universe from our beds. If you enjoy tonight's voyage, consider giving this story a gentle like, or perhaps subscribing to join our next stargazing session. It helps more sleepy minds find their way here, and it ensures you won't miss any future dreamlike journeys through the universe. But for now, there's no rush. The stars will wait for you. Tonight's story is a beautiful and timeless one. It's all about time itself, what time really is in all its mysteries and wonders. We'll drift through the birth of time at the dawn of the universe, glide along the arrow of time that guides every moment, and gently explore how time bends and stretches in the vastness of space. We'll also nestle into the human experience of time, how we feel it in our minds and bodies, and ponder some deep questions about the nature of past and future. Finally, we'll wander far into the cosmic future to imagine how time might one day come to an end. I do hope it's not so interesting that it keeps you awake. But if it does, well, at least you'll know a bit more about the nature of time by the time morning light touches your window. So settle in now. Let your shoulders drop and your body sink into the bed. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breathing in and out, like a quiet clock ticking within you. Maybe roll your shoulders gently and let them settle, and unclench your jaw. With each soft exhale, let any tension in your body melt away along with the day's worries. You're about to drift on a journey through time itself, carried softly on words and imagination. No need to hurry, each moment will unfold at its own pace. Outside, the world is hushed and still at this late hour. Perhaps the only sound you hear is the gentle whisper of a breeze or the faint tick of a clock, reminding you that time is quietly flowing. You might imagine the soft glow of moonlight or the twinkle of distant stars peeking through your window. Everything is at peace, and this moment is yours. The universe of time is waiting for us, and it will guide you towards sleep as we explore its story. Let's begin. 13.8 billion years ago, the universe was born, and with it, time itself began. In the very first moment of the Big Bang, everything we now know, all the stars, galaxies, and even time and space, was compressed into an unimaginably small, hot state. In fact, try to imagine fitting everything that would ever exist, all the galaxies, stars, and planets, into a single point smaller than a pebble. It defies comprehension, doesn't it? Not just small like a grain of sand, but trillions of times smaller than a single atom. It's almost impossible to imagine. All the energy and matter of the cosmos was packed together in a tiny, dense point. There was no before in the usual sense, because time as we understand it didn't exist until that moment. It's a strange thought, isn't it? Asking what happened before time began is like asking what's north of the North Pole. It simply doesn't apply. In that first moment, it's as if the universe took a breath, or a newborn heart began to beat, the first heartbeat of time. It wasn't an explosion in space, it was an expansion of space. Space itself unfurled, stretching out in all directions. If you could picture it, imagine a balloon being inflated, but on a cosmic scale and at mind-boggling speed. In a fraction of a second, the universe grew from subatomic to astronomical sizes. This early expansion was so rapid that it outpaced even the speed of light, a period we call cosmic inflation. But don't worry, nothing was breaking the cosmic speed limit because the rules were a bit different. It was space itself expanding, carrying matter and light along like a rushing tide. In those first fragile moments, the universe was a seething, glowing fog of particles and energy. Everything was incredibly hot and dense, hotter than the core of any star that would later form. Particles like quarks and electrons jittered about in a high-energy dance. Light, the photons, scattered everywhere, so intense that if you were somehow there to see it, it would have been blinding and featureless. But you wouldn't have been able to see anything at all, really, because the concept of an observer didn't make sense yet. There were no eyes, no stars, no solid matter, just a bright, hot plasma and time ticking its first tiny ticks. As the newborn universe expanded and seconds turned into minutes, things began to cool and calm ever so slightly. Like a steaming cup of tea left out in a cool room, the heat gradually dissipated. Within the first few minutes, protons and neutrons, the building blocks of atoms, started to fuse together, forming the nuclei of simple elements like hydrogen and helium. The universe was still an intense, hot soup, but a bit less chaotic than moments before. Time was moving forward, carrying these changes with it. Fast forward several 100,000 years, which may seem like a very long time to us, but was just the blink of an eye in cosmic terms back then. The universe expanded so much and cooled enough that those roaming electrons could finally settle down with atomic nuclei to form the first atoms. At that moment, the universe became transparent. Light could finally travel freely. This ancient light is still around today as a faint afterglow called the cosmic microwave background, a whisper from that time when the universe was only a few 100,000 years old. In this way, time marched onward, and the early darkness was eventually broken as the very first stars began to ignite. They emerged from dense clouds of gas, lighting up like a cosmic dawn. With time, more and more stars were born, gathering into galaxies, vast cities of stars shining in the dark. Even as you listen to this story now, somewhere in a distant nebula, a new star might be igniting for the very first time, adding another point of light to the sky. The cosmic story carries on, always moving forward in time, always unfolding. The cosmos began to take on the structure we see today, with stars, galaxies, clusters, all dancing through expanding space. Each new spark of starlight was a sign that time was doing what it does, moving forward, allowing the universe to evolve from simplicity toward complexity. All through these changes, time was the gentle current carrying the cosmos from one phase to the next. It's as if time provided the canvas on which the universe could paint galaxies, stars, and planets. Without time moving forward, nothing could have evolved or grown. But with time flowing, a newborn universe was able to age and mature, eventually giving rise to wonders like galaxies, and much later, to life pondering its origins under the night sky. Think of how far we've come. From a tiny, hot beginning to a universe filled with billions of galaxies, all in the flow of time. In the grand story of the cosmos, time is the narrator that lets events unfold. Every second since the Big Bang has been part of that story, building one moment upon the next. And here we are, billions of years later, tiny creatures on a little blue world, able to ponder it all as we drift to sleep. It's humbling and wondrous all at once. Now that we've traveled to the beginning of time, let's gently follow the thread that connects that ancient moment to now, the arrow that time shoots forward, always onward. We can't stay in the past. Time insists on moving us along. Close your eyes if they aren't already, and imagine the flow of a great river carrying us forward as we continue. Time, as we experience it, seems to have a direction, a one-way flow from past to future. We remember yesterday, but we cannot remember tomorrow. A sandcastle crumbles into the sea, but the sea never spontaneously builds a sandcastle. If you drop a porcelain cup, it shatters on the floor, but no matter how long you wait, the shards won't leap back into your hand and reassemble. Scrambled eggs won't magically separate back into yolk and white, and a sandcastle won't rise back up from the waves. This is the arrow of time in action. Things change in one irreversible direction. If you've ever seen a film play in reverse, it's obvious how strange backward time would be. You might see spilled water returning into a glass, or a fire's smoke curling back into the logs, all happening contrary to reality. It looks absurd because nature doesn't run backward. Broken things don't unbreak by themselves. We always experience cause followed by effect, never the other way around. But why is it so? What gives time its arrow, pointing from what was to what will be? The answer lies in a concept known as entropy, which is a measure of disorder or randomness. In the tiniest nutshell, the universe tends to move from order toward disorder, from organized to messy. It's like a tidy room that, over time, naturally becomes cluttered if no one cleans it. Or think of a deck of cards neatly sorted by suit and number. When you shuffle it, the deck will almost always end up jumbled instead of back in perfect order. That tendency towards disorder is entropy increasing, and it's fundamentally tied to the arrow of time. In the very early universe, despite all the chaos of the Big Bang, there was actually a kind of strange order. Everything was hot, dense, and uniform. As the universe expanded, there was more and more space for things to spread out and become uneven. Stars formed, galaxies formed, complex structures emerged, but overall, disorder increased. Each star burning its fuel is turning a bit of organized energy, like hydrogen gas, into a more disordered form, heat and light radiating away into space. Every process that produces heat or light is, in a way, an irreversible step toward higher entropy. Entropy is why we can't just rewind to the past. The eggs we scramble for breakfast can't unscramble, because that would mean going from a messier state back to a tidy, separate state, which just doesn't happen naturally. The universe would have to expend energy to decrease entropy, and that process itself generates more entropy elsewhere. It's a one-way street. This one-way increase of entropy gives time a direction forward. Yesterday, the universe was ever so slightly more ordered, and tomorrow it will be slightly more disordered. It's a gentle slope we are all sliding down together. This might sound a bit melancholy, the idea that everything slowly falls apart, but it's also what allows growth and change. A sandcastle eventually falls, yes, But in doing so, it returns sand to the beach, where waves will smooth it, and perhaps someday that sand can form into sandstone, and then maybe get uplifted into cliffs and eroded back into sand again. There's a grand cycle in all that change, even if the details never repeat in exactly the same way. And in our everyday lives, the arrow of time is what lets us learn and remember. We gain experiences as time moves forward. We grow older and hopefully wiser, carried by time's current. So, as we drift here in the present moment, wrapped in blankets perhaps, we can accept that time's arrow points forward, and that's okay. It carries us through life's changes, one moment to the next. No matter how much we might long to revisit yesterday or skip ahead to tomorrow, time's arrow gently insists we live in the present, moving one way at its own steady pace. Each moment arrives as a gift and then slips into the past, becoming a memory. And that's okay. It's what makes each moment precious and unique, something we can treasure even as time carries us onward. The past is a memory, the future a promise, and right now, this quiet now, is where we always find ourselves. Let's take another slow breath, aware of this one-way journey we're on. In and out. Good. Time is carrying us gently, like a river that only flows one way. Yet, time has some surprises too. While it never reverses, it doesn't always march at the same steady pace everywhere. In fact, time can stretch and slow down under the right circumstances. To explore that, we're going to drift away from earthly scenes of teacups and sandcastles and journey out to realms of high speed and heavy gravity, where time reveals its elastic nature. Far out in deep space, imagine a lonely astronaut traveling in a sleek spaceship, moving faster and faster, closer to the speed of light. Outside the window, stars blur into streaks of white as the ship races onward. On board, the astronaut's heart beats steadily, and the clock on the wall ticks away seconds normally. At least it seems normal to them. But something astonishing is happening. Compared to the time back home on Earth, the astronaut's time is running slower. This is not science fiction or mere imagination. It's a real effect called time dilation, predicted by Albert Einstein over a century ago. Before then, time was thought to be like a universal drumbeat, steady and the same for everyone, everywhere. Einstein's insight was revolutionary. He revealed that time is woven together with space and can differ from one observer to another. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time from the perspective of someone not moving with you. If our astronaut turned around and came back to Earth after what felt like a year of travel, they might find that many more than a year have passed for those who stayed behind. In effect, the astronaut would have leaped into the future, aging less than everyone back home. This strange stretching of time doesn't occur only at high speeds. It also happens in strong gravity. Now picture a distant world orbiting close to a massive black hole. A black hole is an object so heavy and dense that its gravity is extraordinary. If you were on that planet, deep in the black hole's gravitational well, time for you would creep by slowly compared to someone far away. Perhaps you spend an hour on that world, watching the dark sky and feeling the immense pull of the black hole nearby. Meanwhile, far from the black hole, perhaps years might pass for observers out in space. The stronger the gravity, the slower time moves for those within it, compared to those far away. This effect is called gravitational time dilation. Time itself runs slower in stronger gravity. It sounds like science fiction, but it's been measured in tiny amounts, even here on Earth and with satellites. How can time be so flexible? Einstein's theory of relativity revealed that space and time are woven together like a fabric, and this fabric can stretch or compress. Just as a heavy ball placed on a trampoline stretches the fabric and slows the movement of anything rolling near it, a massive object like a star or black hole warps space-time and slows the passage of time nearby. And traveling fast through space is like pulling the fabric taut in another way, which also makes time slow down relative to those moving slower. For us living our everyday lives, these effects are extremely tiny, barely noticeable. Clocks on GPS satellites high above Earth, for example, tick a little faster than clocks on the ground because gravity is weaker up there, but also a little slower because they're moving fast. Engineers actually have to account for these minuscule time differences so that GPS mapping is accurate. Even on our own planet, the effects are there. Time moves a tiny bit faster at the top of a mountain than at sea level because you're farther from Earth's gravity. That means if you lived on a mountaintop your whole life, you'd be ever so slightly older than if you had lived at sea level for the same span of years. The difference is just fractions of a second, but it's a real effect. It's almost unbelievable to think that your head ages a tiny bit quicker than your feet, simply because your feet are closer to the Earth and feel gravity a bit more strongly. These differences are incredibly small, but they're a fun reminder that gravity and speed are affecting time around us even when we don't notice. The idea that time can dilate, that two people can experience different amounts of time for the same process, reminds us just how mysterious time really is. Imagine two twins. One stays on Earth, the other takes a long trip on a fast rocket. When the traveling twin returns, they would be younger than the twin who stayed, having experienced less time. This twin paradox, as it's often called, is a famous thought experiment that shows how non-intuitive time can be under relativity. It makes us wonder, what is time if it can stretch and bend like this? It's awe-inspiring and maybe a little hard to wrap your head around. The idea that time is not rigid or universal. But it also adds to the mystique of this universe we live in. Time has layers and surprises, and even as we uncover its quirks, it retains a quiet, profound mystery. As you lie here quietly, feeling the gentle tug of Earth's gravity and the calm of being at rest, know that time is flowing at the usual pace for you, each second just as long as the last. But it's fun to ponder that somewhere out there, at this very moment, time might be trickling a tad slower or faster for someone or something else, all depending on speed and gravity. Perhaps on some distant world, beneath twin suns or near a whirling galaxy, time flows just a hair differently. The differences are small unless conditions are extreme, but they remind us of a profound truth. Time is part of the fabric of the cosmos, and it can be more fluid than our everyday experience suggests. Now we've journeyed through cosmic expanses where time bends. Let's gently return for a moment to the quiet of your own room, back to the realm of human experience. Feel the present around you, the support of your bed beneath you, the softness of your pillow, the gentle pull of Earth's gravity keeping you grounded. Take a nice, slow breath in and out. Very good. Time is not only a phenomenon out in space or in physics equations. It's also something we feel intimately in our minds and bodies. The next leg of our journey through time will bring us into our own perceptions, where seconds can stretch or sprint based on feelings, and where memories and dreams let us wander through time in our own way. When you're ready, let's explore the landscapes of time within us. Now we turn our gaze inward to the theater of the human mind, where time can feel elastic, speeding up or slowing down depending on our mood and attention. Have you ever noticed how time can seem to fly by when you're enjoying yourself, but crawl at a snail's pace when you're bored or anxious? A joyful afternoon with friends might whisk by in what feels like minutes, while a few minutes waiting in a quiet room can feel like hours. Our perception of time is not always in sync with the clock on the wall. Instead, it's deeply tied to how we experience each moment. When we are fully engaged in something, lost in a good book, absorbed in a hobby, or deep in conversation, we often enter a state of flow. In those moments, we become so immersed that we hardly notice time at all. Hours can pass, and yet it feels like no time has gone by because we weren't watching the clock. We were living completely in the present. On the other hand, when we're doing something tedious or when we're uncomfortable, we keep checking the time and it seems to drag. That's our brain's subjective clock at work, different from the steady tick-tock of a physical clock. Have you noticed how our perception of time can also change as we age? When you were a child, a single school day or a car ride to visit relatives might have felt like it lasted forever, and the summers seemed endless. Each moment was packed with new experiences, and your mind was recording every detail. But as we grow older, we become used to the patterns of life. The days can blur together when they're filled with routine, and years start to feel shorter. Part of it is that each year is a smaller fraction of our life so far, making it seem like time is speeding up. Also, our brains tend to compress familiar events into one memory. A week that repeats the usual schedule might not stand out much in hindsight, making it feel like it passed in a blink. On the other hand, when we break the routine, travel somewhere new, start a new hobby, or experience a big life change, time suddenly feels more expansive again, both in the moment and in our memory. New and exciting experiences lay down richer memories, which can make those periods of life feel longer and fuller when we look back on them. Our emotions also color our sense of time. Moments of fear or adrenaline can make time feel like it stretches out. People often say that in an accident or emergency, things seem to happen in slow motion. It's as if the brain goes into hyper-awareness, recording so many details that those few seconds feel packed and long. Meanwhile, happy times can feel fleeting while they're happening, but when we recall them later, they shine brightly and take up lots of space in our memory, giving certain days or years a special glow. Speaking of memory, that's another way we humans dance through time. Right now, as you lie here, you might let your mind wander back to an earlier moment in your life, perhaps a childhood summer day or a cherished memory with someone dear to you. In an instant, our mind can time travel to the past. We can re-experience a memory so vividly that for a moment, it's as if we are there again, hearing the laughter or feeling the warmth of that day long ago. These memories are like little time capsules we carry within us, fragments of the past that we can visit in our dreams or daydreams. And just as we visit the past in our thoughts, we also wander into the future. We anticipate things that haven't happened, yet picturing tomorrow's plans or imagining years down the road. Maybe you're thinking about something you're looking forward to, or simply wondering what tomorrow will bring. This anticipation is our mind's way of peeking ahead in time. We can build entire possible futures in our imagination, some delightful, some worrisome, and feel emotions from those imagined times as if they were happening now. It's amazing and a little magical that our brains can do this, flit between yesterday, today, and tomorrow so easily. In our minds, then, time is not a simple, steady march. It's more like a storyteller flipping through the pages of a book back and forth, rereading favorite passages, eagerly previewing upcoming chapters. We have the gift of memory and the gift of imagination, which let us move through time in ways our bodies cannot. Physically, we are stuck in the present, moving 1 second at a time. But mentally, we can visit our yesterdays and tomorrows almost at will. As we lie here, breathing softly, perhaps you notice these subtle travels in time that your mind can take. A stray thought might carry you years into the past, or the idea of morning might nudge you gently toward the future. That's okay. Let the thoughts come and go like waves, and gently bring yourself back to the present moment, to the quiet room and the softness of your bed. Right now, you are safe and calm, listening to a story in the dark. The past and future can drift around you, but they need not carry you away. In this relaxed state, you can simply watch them float by like leaves on a stream, while you remain here in the now, at peace. Next, let's remember that time is not just something we sense or imagine. It's also built into our very biology. Even as you lie here, you can feel one of those clocks, your own heartbeat, gently ticking away in your chest, keeping time second by second. Each breath you take is like a soft metronome, soothing and regular. Even when you're not consciously thinking about time at all, your body keeps its own rhythms and clocks. From the beating of your heart to the cycle of sleep and wakefulness, we are creatures of time through and through. Every cell and every organ follows the rhythms of life. So now, let's explore those gentle biological clocks that tick within us. Even as we sleep or daydream, there are clocks inside our bodies quietly ticking away, keeping us in tune with the world. One of the most important is the circadian rhythm, an internal clock roughly 24 hours long that guides our sleep and wake cycles, our hunger, our body temperature, and even our moods. Deep in the brain, in a region called the hypothalamus, a tiny cluster of cells acts like the body's master clock. Each morning, daylight enters our eyes and sends a signal to this master clock, telling it that a new day has dawned. In response, our body adjusts. It suppresses the sleep hormone melatonin, raises our body temperature a bit, and helps us feel alert and awake. As daylight fades in the evening, the master clock winds us down, increasing melatonin so we feel sleepy, cooling our body, and preparing us for rest. This daily rhythm is why we tend to feel energetic during certain parts of the day and drowsy at others. When we travel across time zones and get jet lag, it's because our internal clock is suddenly out of sync with the new local time. Until our circadian rhythm adjusts, we might feel sleepy in the middle of the afternoon or wide awake in the middle of the night, because our inner clock is still on the old time. It's a reminder that our sense of time isn't just in our thinking, it's imprinted in our very cells. Beyond the circadian rhythm, our bodies have other cycles and pulses. Think of your heartbeat steadily thumping in your chest, a constant rhythmic reminder of each passing second. Or your breath, the gentle rise and fall that even now might be slowing as you relax more deeply. These are biological clocks of a sort too, marking time on short scales of seconds. On longer scales, our bodies age and change over years, growing from infants to children to adults to elders. Each cell in our body has its own tiny molecular clock, guiding when it should divide or when certain genes turn on and off. We are, in a sense, a whole collection of clocks, all ticking together at different speeds. Even nature around us moves to rhythms. The opening of flowers at dawn and their closing at dusk, the migrations of birds with the seasons, the way trees shed leaves as autumn approaches. All living things are tied into the cycles of time on Earth, daily cycles, seasonal cycles, and more. We humans sometimes feel separate from nature, but our internal clocks tell a different story. We, too, respond to the lengthening days of spring and the long nights of winter. Our sleep tends to be a bit longer in the dark of winter and shorter when summer's early light wakes us. We eat, sleep, and even heal wounds on schedules influenced by time's cycles. As you snuggle under the covers, consider how your body knows that night has come. Your eyelids grow heavy because your internal evening clock is sending signals that it's time to rest. It's a reassuring thought. Even without looking at a clock, your body knows it's night and time to sleep. The ticking within you is gentle and wise, connecting you to the ancient pattern of night and day that life has followed for billions of years. At night, when you drift into slumber, your body and mind undertake an important journey of their own. Sleep is far from wasted time. It's a vital part of our natural cycle. As you sleep, your brain sorts and stores memories from the day, and your cells perform repairs and recharge for tomorrow. It's like each night, your body follows an ancient ritual of healing and renewal. So by snuggling in and closing your eyes, you're not just resting, you're participating in a rhythm as old as life on Earth, one that keeps you healthy and whole. Now, we've felt time in the vast cosmos, in our minds, and in our bodies. Time surrounds us and flows through us every moment. But there's still a lingering question. What is time itself, really? Is it more than just the ticking of clocks and the changing of seasons? Perhaps it's something even deeper. Let's take a calming breath in and out, and gently step back to ponder time from a broader perspective, one that goes beyond our daily experience into the realm of philosophy and fundamental physics. In this next part of our journey, we'll allow ourselves to simply wonder without needing all the answers, drifting among ideas as vast as the starry sky. Let's take a mental step back now and look at time from a sweeping, philosophical angle. We live our lives moment by moment, always in the now, with the past behind us and the future ahead. But some thinkers have wondered if this flow of time might be, in a sense, an illusion of perspective. In the world of physics, especially in Einstein's relativity, time can be thought of as a dimension much like space. Just as all places in a landscape exist at once, even if you are only in one place at a time, perhaps all moments in time might exist as well, even if we only experience them one by one. This idea is sometimes called the block universe. Imagine time as a great book, and each moment is a page in that book. We, with our consciousness, are like readers moving through the story page by page. We feel the passage of time because we're reading the pages in order. But the book itself, past, present, future, all the pages, might already exist in its entirety. In a block universe view, every moment that has happened or will happen is out there somewhere in the four-dimensional tapestry of space-time. It's a mind-boggling idea, because it means that in some sense the past isn't truly gone and the future is already real, just not yet experienced by us. If the book analogy is hard to picture, consider another, a movie film reel. The entire movie, every scene exists on the film, but we only see one frame at a time projected on the screen. We experience the story unfolding scene by scene. In reality, though, all the frames, past scenes and future scenes we haven't watched yet, already exist on the reel. We're just moving through them. Similarly, in the block universe idea, each moment of time is like a frame on the cosmic film reel, and we are observers watching one frame after another, thinking time is passing. Not everyone agrees with the block universe perspective. Some philosophers and scientists favor a different idea called presentism, which says that only the present moment is truly real. In that view, the past exists only in our memories and records, and the future only in our expectations. The only thing that actually exists is this very moment. To presentists, time is like a wave moving forward. The present is the crest of the wave, constantly bringing new moments into being and leaving past ones behind. Both views and others in between try to grasp the slippery essence of time. So far, time keeps its deepest secrets closely guarded. It's worth noting that Einstein, in a letter comforting a friend's family, wrote something intriguing. Essentially, for those of us who believe in physics, the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. In other words, from the eyes of fundamental physics, time might not be as straightforward as it feels to us. Perhaps everything is happening all at once in some strange sense, and it's our limited perspective that makes it seem like a flow. Whether or not the block universe is the true nature of reality, it's a wonderfully poetic notion that every moment of your life, your first day of school, a favorite birthday, this quiet night right now, and a day far in the future when you watch a sunset, all exist like timeless stars fixed on the firmament of space-time. And here you are, traveling through those moments, 1 second at a time, like a traveler walking a path laid out across a vast landscape. These are deep waters, and it's okay if it feels a bit confusing or abstract. Even the greatest minds puzzle over what time really is. Is time something fundamental that was woven into the fabric of the universe from the start? Or could it be that time is a feature that emerges from something even more basic, like an illusion created by our minds or a byproduct of the way the universe works at a deep level? We don't yet know. Pondering these questions can make your mind feel wonderfully drowsy, not from boredom, but from the sheer scale of the mystery. It's like gazing up at a sky full of stars and contemplating infinity. For now, you don't need to solve these riddles. You can simply float in the wonder of not knowing. Our journey is nearly complete, but we have one more stop. We've floated to the beginning of time, and now we will drift toward the distant future, to gently wonder about how time and the universe itself might come to an end if it ever does. Take a nice, slow breath. We'll tread very lightly here, and remember that this is only a voyage of imagination, far, far into the future, safe and abstract. There's nothing to worry about. It's just another part of the story. Our journey through time now carries us forward, far beyond the bounds of our everyday lives, beyond even the era of our sun and our galaxy, into the distant cosmic future. It's like we're stepping onto a time-traveling ship, and accelerating millions, then billions, then trillions of years ahead. What lies at the end of the river of time? Will time itself ever stop or lose meaning? Let's paint a gentle picture of one possibility that scientists often discuss, something called the heat death of the universe, which is a poetic name for a very quiet kind of ending. As time goes on, the stars that shine above us will not burn forever. In a few billion years, our own sun will exhaust its fuel. It will swell into a red giant star, then shed its outer layers and leave behind a small, glowing ember called a white dwarf. By that time, Earth, if it still exists, will be uninhabitable. But perhaps humanity or our distant descendants will have found new homes among the stars. Yet even those far-off suns would eventually age and fade. On timescales of tens of billions of years, most stars will use up their fuel and go out, one by one, like lights turning off across a vast cosmic city at night. Fast forward further, we reach a time when galaxies themselves grow quiet. New stars cease to be born because the gas needed to form them is mostly used up or too spread out. The once bright galaxies become collections of faint, burnt-out stars and dead remnants, black holes, cold white dwarfs, and neutron stars. Occasionally, there might be a last flash from two dead stars merging, or a flare, as matter falls into a black hole. But as the trillions upon trillions of years roll on, even those events become rarer. Now drift further forward, to times so distant we need scientific notation to even express them. At around 10-100 years, that's a 1 followed by 100 zeros, an incomprehensibly large number, even the mighty black holes will have evaporated away. Stephen Hawking theorized that black holes very slowly leak energy via Hawking radiation. Given enough time, they shrink and vanish like an ice cube evaporating on a hot day. Except this day lasts many, many orders of magnitude longer than the current age of the universe. When the last black hole finally hisses out of existence, what's left behind? The universe will be a vast, nearly empty expanse. All the matter and energy that once made bright stars, galaxies, and life will be spread thinly across an ever-expanding space. What remains is a cold, diffuse soup of tiny particles and gentle radiation, so dilute that, on average, you might have to travel billions of miles to encounter another particle. No stars twinkle, no planets orbit, nothing much happens at all. This is the heart of the heat death scenario, a universe that has reached maximum entropy, where everything is as disordered and uniform as it can get. In such a state, there are no usable energy differences left, no pockets of warmth or concentrated energy to drive any processes. In a sense, nothing really happens anymore. It's as if time has practically stopped. Not literally, time would still quietly tick onward, second by second. But with almost nothing changing from one eon to the next, there'd be no events to mark its passage. Imagine an eternal midnight across the cosmos. No stars in the sky, no sunrises or sunsets, just a vast, dark expanse stretching out forever. In such stillness, a year, a million years, or a billion might pass without any fanfare, each moment almost a mirror of the last. Some thinkers have imagined the universe might not end in quiet at all, but instead reverse its expansion in a grand finale called the Big Crunch. In that scenario, billions of years from now, gravity would gradually halt the expansion and pull everything back inward. Galaxies would draw closer together, merging. stars might crowd the skies again. Over an incomprehensible span, the cosmos would shrink and heat up until it becomes as hot and dense as it was at the very beginning. Time would come full circle, with the universe ending in a colossal compression, perhaps even sparking another Big Bang, a kind of cosmic rebirth. It's a dramatic idea, the universe breathing in after breathing out, time restarting in an endless cycle. However, our current evidence suggests this won't happen. Instead, expansion seems to be speeding up due to a mysterious push we call dark energy. It appears the cosmos is destined to grow emptier rather than recollapse. Still, the notion of a cyclic universe is a poetic one, a reminder that when it comes to the far future, we are dealing with possibilities and imagination as much as observation. Now, this picture of the future is, admittedly, a bit melancholic. But remember, this quiet twilight of the cosmos is an unimaginably far-off chapter, so distant that it dwarfs the 13.8 billion years between the Big Bang and tonight. And also, it's just one possible ending based on what we think we know now. There may be aspects of physics we have yet to discover, surprises that could change this story. Perhaps the universe will find a new way to reboot or continue on. We don't really know for sure what fate awaits the cosmos. We only have theories and a lot of time to wonder. Thinking about such immense spans of time can indeed make our everyday concerns feel small. But it can also be oddly comforting. By the time the universe reaches this final quiet state, every pain or worry that ever troubled any being will have long since dissolved into the mists of time. What remains in that vision is a peaceful stillness. One could imagine it as the universe finally at rest after an eternity of activity. In a way, a cosmic goodnight. Perhaps heat death isn't a tragic ending so much as a gentle slumber of a universe that has explored every possibility and finally settled into a deep sleep. As we contemplate this far-off destiny, remember that it's so abstract and distant that it need not trouble our hearts. Our lives, our Earth, our Sun, all of these exist in the vibrant, youthful epoch of the universe, when stars still shine and life enjoys warm, sunny days. We are fortunate to be here now in a cosmos that is still full of light and possibility. And right now, you are a witness to time, to this very moment, a moment that will never come again in exactly the same way. It's precious because it's fleeting, but that's what gives it its beauty. Now, our journey from the dawn of time to the dusk of the universe is nearly complete. All that's left is to gently return to where we started, the present moment, and find comfort in the here and now. Let's drift back to the now, to this room, to your cozy spot, and prepare to rest. Here we are, back in the quiet present. You've traveled across the vast expanse of time with me, from the universe's first heartbeat to its far, far future. We began at the very birth of time, witnessing the universe's first brilliant moments. We followed the one-way arrow of time, seeing how each moment leads into the next, and why there's no turning back. We soared into the cosmos, where time can bend and slow under the strange laws of relativity. Then we turned inward, feeling how time flows in our own minds, quick in joy, slow in boredom, woven with memories and dreams. We listened to the quiet ticking of our biological clocks, our heartbeat and breath syncing with the world's day and night. We even pondered the deepest mysteries of time's nature, wondering if all moments might exist at once, like pages in a book. And finally, we drifted into the far, far future, imagining a peaceful cosmic slumber at the end of time. That's quite a journey for one night, and you did it all while resting comfortably, letting my words wash over you. Take a moment to appreciate the stillness around you now. In this room, in this now, you are safe and at peace. The past is gently behind us. The future is softly ahead. You don't need to visit them anymore tonight. You can let them be. All that matters in this moment is the gentle rise and fall of your breath and the warm embrace of your bed. Feel how your body has relaxed, how heavy your eyelids are now, and how calm your mind has become after our long, dreamy exploration. Notice the weight of your body sinking into the mattress, fully supported. If you find any last bit of tension in your shoulders, your neck, or your face, take a slow breath and let it soften and melt away. Your body is warm, safe, and at ease. If your mind drifts to any of the wonders we talked about, the birth of stars, the bending of time, the memories of your life, or that far-off hush of the universe, just let those thoughts float by like soft clouds. You don't need to hold on to them. They'll settle on their own. Right now, it's time to rest. Time to let go of the day and the ideas and even this story. You can allow yourself to drift into sleep, trusting that time will keep ticking softly without you needing to watch it. As you sink deeper into sleep, with your eyes closed and each breath slow and easy, imagine that you yourself are like a small, content galaxy in a vast, peaceful universe. All your stars and planets, your thoughts and dreams, are slowly circling in harmony, calm and quiet. The night is carrying you gently. Perhaps you see a spiral of stars turning slowly, or feel yourself floating among them, calm and free. You might dream of floating through time, or maybe you'll simply enjoy a deep, dark, restful slumber. Whatever comes, let it come. You are a part of this universe, and time will cradle you until morning. Thank you for joining this voyage through time with me. It's been a pleasure to have your company on this gentle adventure. Now the final journey of the night is yours alone, the journey into sweet, restorative sleep. Feel free to let go and drift off whenever you're ready. Whether you're already asleep or just on the verge of dreams, know that this peaceful corner of the cosmos is always here for you when you need it. Good night, sleep well, and may you dream in gentle rhythms of time and starlight. Until next time, dear friend, rest easy and sweet dreams.